A warm welcome to another installment of our Bannerlord online mod tutorial series. And today we will hopefully learn everything there is to know about the elite troops of Bannerlord. They're called noble troops. So let's jump right into it and try to answer all your questions regarding where to get them, how to get them, and should you get them, and what are they, the noble troops of Bannerlord Online. So, once you started to play and gotten a little bit more experienced, you might notice that some players seem to be having a lot better troops than you are. They are also selling some ridiculously overpriced troops in the chat to other players, and you start asking yourself, what are those troops? Well, those are the special troops called nobles, and I'm certain there is a way to recruit these in the regular vanilla Mount & Blade game. I think they're available as recruits in certain villages randomly across the map. That is not the case in Bannerlord Online mod. There is currently 3 ways, I am almost certain, that you can gain noble troops in the game. And I will tell you about all these 3 ways how you can get them. But let's first examine them and see what are they. As you can see here from my troop list, I have a single maxed out noble troop, and they are tier 6. The maximum level of, or tier or level of regular troops is 5. So yeah, these troops, they go to 11. They have a single development tree, so they start out as highborn youths, and there is one from each culture, so this is the Battanian. So every culture has a different noble troop. Obviously the wood living elfish Battanians are going to have a super skilled archer, whereas I know the Aserai has a horse archer, nothing surprising there. Is it the Vlandians that has like a lancer, or I don't know them all, it doesn't really matter, but there is one per culture, and you start them at tier 2 and they go up to tier 6, and they can die and disappear, so you have to be a bit careful when you level them up. They have a wage of 187 each day. I think that's quite expensive compared to a regular. Let's see what a tier 5 regular troop guy costs per day. 68. So if my math is correct, that's almost 3 times the upkeep of a regular tier. So not only do they cost a lot of money if you buy them from other players, not only are they kind of hard to gain, to get, to find, to recruit, they risk dying while you level them up, and then when you have them at maximum tier 6, they cost a whole bucket load of upkeep for you to have. So let's now discuss how you can gain these troops in case you feel you're rich enough to use them. I would say that they are primarily PvP troops, or if you just feel like you have money to save for it, because they are better than all other troops. So whether you want to use them or not, that is up to you, but they are by far not necessary to win any PvE fight that I have been in, like regular daily grinding. So it's not a must-have troop, it's kind of a luxury splash, spoil yourself troop sort. And if you are into very competitive PvP and have the money to spare, you could get them. So the first way you can, out of 3, that you can gain noble troops is by defeating bandit hideouts. If you are experienced enough to know about, wanting to know and watching this video about noble troops, you probably are aware there are 3 level of books, quest books, called Mabon's notes, diaries, and revelations. And they are, to gain diaries, you need to do the notes. To gain revelations, you need to do the diaries. So they have a level 1, 2, and 3. And if you do the highest tier revelation quest books, Mabon's Revelations, and you defeat that hideout, which is quite difficult, and you need all the skills and perks to actually be able to do it, yada yada, then at the end there is a chance that you will be allowed to recruit one or maybe more than one noble recruit at the end. So since the revelations are quite expensive, they're currently running around 50,000 gold in the trader, but they have been up to 80 and even 100,000 before, so things vary, right? So that's a kind of a complicated, difficult random, because you can also get tier 5 troops, I believe, so it's not guaranteed. So not only do you have to find one of those revelations books, you have to defeat it, and then you have to be lucky enough to gain a noble troop at the end of that quest. But that is one way. I don't think anyone uses that as a steady, stable, and regular way of gaining nobles. The second way to gain noble troops that was introduced is through the use of this so-called antique trader. Let me just show you where he resides. Never mind this. There is only one antique trader on the entire map. He doesn't appear for you as a new player. You have to unlock him through a rather complicated quest line, which we will call the antique trader quest line for short. I don't know what we would call it. And he resides in Koyas once you have finished. And Koyas is in the southwestern part of the map, I suppose, in the Azerite territories. That was the main reason why the Sellswords of Calradia decided to have their clan hall in Koyas. It turned out to be a pretty bad decision, but at the time we didn't have all the information we have now about where to place your clans, etc. It doesn't really matter for these videos, the purpose of this video. But if you enter Koyas, into the town surroundings, and if you have finished the antique trader quest line, he will be standing on the trader square up here inside the second city gate, and he will allow you to pick between 3 item categories, and sometimes there will be noble troop recruits here. If you don't like what you see, you can swap for these ancient coins and ancient cups, and then you can buy them. Okay, so here's where you gain, and every 3 hours there will be a new set of items to pick from. Even if you swap here and purchase something, then you won't be able to swap and buy again. So every 3 hours you have a new chance of swapping until you get one sort of noble recruits, and you don't know what culture. If you're, say, out for Battanian Fians, the archers we talked about earlier, it's by no means a guarantee that the antique trader will give you Battanian Fians here. You might have to swap a lot of times before you find them, and then once you buy one, or up to, I think I've seen up to 8, 9, even 10 noble recruits at the most. At least you can get 4 or 5. I'm sure about that. I don't know how many is the maximum, but so there's no guarantee of the specific culture, how many times, how often you recruit them, but it is a steady, stable way of recruiting noble troops. The antique trader of Koyas. Antique master, that's his name. I'm sorry about that. So if you haven't done this quest, this guy won't be here. This spot will be empty. So now I hear you wonder, oh wise Bannerlord online master Jedi, how can I open up the antique master trader quest? Well, it's a long and rather advanced quest line, but it's not particularly hard to do it if you have the time and you're willing to put in the effort. What you need to do is go south into the deserts into the so-called wildlands, which are in the very south of the map, down here. South of the Azerai cities, where the desert bandits roam the lands, the hot sands, and where the oases give you a chance to heal yourself and your troops very rapidly. Now, the only problem down here is this is a PvP area, and it is heavily contested. You most likely will get attacked if you go down here. If you have not arranged an alliance, a temporary permission from the clans that control this area and see it as their backyard. And even if you do that, maybe the coalition that controls this area, maybe those players and the clans that are down there at that very moment won't know you, won't know your clan, won't know your name, and you will get attacked anyways. So there is a certain danger to doing this, to entering this area at any time, unless you're part of the coalition and the clans that control this territory. But that aside, all you need to do is go down here and find the NPC armies called Desert Bandits. They are red, they are on horseback, they are horse archers, they are lancers, they have a little bit of infantry at times. And they range from 2-4 minor small stacks up to, I don't know, what would be a large stack, 40, 45. And there are also bosses and bosses guards, bosses bodyguards armies. And I think the bosses guards, they range from 120 up to 190 troops. So that's nothing you attack alone, most likely. Well, some do, but most people won't. And the bosses are up to 250 troops each. So those are not the troops you're supposed to attack if you're only going down to look for the quest book that opens up the Antique Master Trader quest line. That's a handful, that's a mouthful to say. But if you just skirt the outskirts of the desert, say you go over here to the very east and you sneak into the desert around here, maybe there are no bosses, maybe there are no hostile players, and you kill off just a few small desert bandits, sooner or later, on a random occasion, there's no way you can influence this more than killing more and more desert bandits. But sooner or later in your inventory you will notice a lost antique trader quest book. I can't remember the exact name of the item, but it will be a particular quest item in your inventory. And what you do is you open it and you activate it with a green click mark here, and you'll get a new quest, and it will be in your quest log. And that quest log will tell you to go, if I remember correctly, it tells you to go to the capital of the Azerai culture, which is Quasira, here in the center of the Desert Kingdom, or Emirate, or whatever it's called. And often in global chat, people wonder, where is the quest person inside Quasira? Whatever. He's called the Wise Ancient Man or something. I don't exactly remember. But all you do is you enter Quasira town and you press Alt, and all the NPCs' names will pop up inside the town. And if you find one that is not a merchant, that is not a regular NPC, it has a special name that you can recognize, he stands around a square, you go and talk to him, and he says like, wow, you found this old book. Well, this book belongs to the Antique Master not in this town but somewhere else, and if you want to talk to him, I know he needs 3 amulets. So I'll take the book, and you go out into the desert, you kill some more desert bandits until you randomly find 3 amulets. Now, you being a wily player saying that, no, I don't want to do that, it's dangerous and it takes a long time and it's random and it's all huffy puffy, why can't I buy these amulets off of another player? Well, you can't, because they are quest items. You can't sell them, you can't trade for them, you can't give them away. I'm not even sure, I guess you can discard them by dragging them from your right inventory to your left discard side here. So maybe you can lose them on your own volition by throwing them away. But once you have that quest, if you go down a second time to the desert, kill off desert bandits, sooner or later 3 amulets will drop and be stacked into your inventory. A lot of players complain that, oh, how come it took you 1 hour to gain all 3 amulets? I've been out there in desert for 2 or 3 days and I haven't dropped a single one. It doesn't matter, it's random and it's not that rare. Most people that go down there and grind for, let's say, a couple of hours, they will get their 3 amulets. And once you have them, I suppose you go back to Quasira and turn them in, and then the antique master trader NPC will pop up in Koyas. Maybe you take the 3 amulets here to Koyas. I can't remember. It's been a very long time since I did it. I'm sure there are articles on the forums and on that you can Google if you want the exact, but I'm giving you the gist of it. That is, first you find out a random book, then you talk to the NPC, then he sends you back into the desert, you kill enough desert bandits to get 3 amulets, you turn those 3 amulets in, and then the antique master NPC trader is open up for you, and you can grind ancient coins and ancient cups from these desert bandits, and you can purchase the noble troops, as many as you want. So I hope that explains it, how you get noble troops that way. For the longest time, that was the best or most common way. So whoever controlled the desert and whoever controlled Kuyas and the routes here from clans, they would control the supply of noble troops, and since they are superior to other troops, well, they give you quite a substantial benefit in PvP and I guess clan wars. So there was a little bit of strategy and map control and controversy around Kuyas and the antique trader. But after they introduced the Frostlands, well, they made quite recently a new update, so that NPCs now drop random items called Noble Warrior Upgrade item something, and if you have regular troops, you can upgrade them to noble troops of that culture. You can skip ahead if you don't want the details, but I'll give the details. If you have a tier 5 regular troop of a certain culture, let's say for example the Battanian tier 5, because that's what I had. If you have 4 of the regular noble upgrade kits, you can't use 1, 2 or 3, you need to have 4 of them. You can upgrade a single tier 5 Battanian troop to a tier 2, which is the noble troops recruit tier, lowest tier. So with 4 of those kits. If you happen to have the greater noble upgrade kits, instead of tier 2, they will upgrade to tier 4 out of 6, meaning they are a lot more advanced, they have better skills. I guess it's a bigger chance for them to survive all the way up to tier 6 fully upgraded. You can also buy these upgrade kits on a market placed there by a player, and I guess your best chance is to go to Zionica and check out the prices there. Well, we could actually log in and check out the prices, but I suggest you do it yourself. So you don't have to grind these kits up here in the north, but I guess you're supposed to run around here, find these upgrade kits and upgrade your troops from regular troops to noble troops while you're grinding in the Frostlands, or bring them back to the merchants and sell them to other players, of course, obviously. But it's quite a different way of finding and upgrading and acquiring noble troops compared to the antique trader. And I have noticed in the Discord suggestions that there is a certain resentment from players and clans that are located in the south and have been subsisting and relying on the antique trader for their noble troop supplies, that maybe this is an easier, or I mean, at least you can choose which culture of noble troops you want to upgrade with these kits, whereas if you repeatedly go and ask requests at the antique master in Koyas, you don't know which troop culture. So when it comes to prices, amount and availability of nobles, I couldn't tell you if the Frostlands PvP area or the Wildlands PvP area gives a better regular or more reasonably priced supply of noble troops. There are 2 ways of getting noble troops now, one from each PvP area. It doesn't seem to be that much of a controversy around how this works. So with that, we have explained what noble troops are, how to gain them. I'm gonna leave it up to you to find out on your own how to use them, when to use them, or if to use them. That is out of the scope of this video, but I hope you get a better grasp at what noble troops are now. Sorry about that. Anything else we should mention? Feel free to ask questions, post comments in the comments below, and I'll answer them as well as I can. And thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.